Today, 1 year ago, I started using eToro as one of the 3 main brokers that I use pretty much for all my investments. So I thought it would be a perfect time to reflect on it, share with you my honest opinions of the things that I like and don't like so much, as well as give you a little portfolio update and show you how my investments developed over the 1 year period on eToro. As always, this is of course not investment advice. And as you can see over here, exactly a year ago, I made the video announcing that I'm switching over to eToro. People have a lot of thoughts and opinions around the broker, and that's totally fine, right? I'm not here to convince you. I'm just here to share with you my opinion, because obviously I put my own hard-earned money into a broker, which I certainly wouldn't be using if I thought my money wouldn't be safe with them. And I very often come across people who say they don't like eToro, but then when I ask them whether they used it, they say maybe they used it a few years ago, but obviously, like many brokers, they evolve and change. And now recently, eToro himself actually became a stock-listed company in the US. It's listed on the NASDAQ. Now, again, it's not a company I'll be investing in as a stock itself. It hasn't done especially well since then, but it's only been a couple of months. But it also shows me they're becoming more serious, more mature, and I feel more safer with a broker that's stock listed, because ultimately it's all about safety and security of your funds. And that's yet another, crucial aspect of that, because they're going to be even more vetted and checked and verified by different institutions as well as analysts. And of course, the CEO and management board have to deliver the results on a quarterly basis and transparently show the numbers, how the deposits are developing, customer numbers, etc. So for me, obviously, that makes it much more transparent than a broker that's privately owned, where we hope they're doing a good job with our money. But let's jump over into the platform and I'll show you around, obviously show you how my portfolio did, as well as the things I like and things I think they could be improving on. So right off the bat, you see over here the 1-year chart of how the portfolio developed. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. As you can see over here, back in September, exactly a year ago, we were at $0. And that was the first time I opened my account. And again, I'll touch on this a little bit later, why I did that at the time. But yeah, you can see here, first of all, the gray dots are every time I made buys. And I always talk about and preach about dollar cost averaging, regular investments every single time. And well, with a few little exceptions, because at that time I might have used another broker, but mostly I've been really weekly dollar cost averaging into my various positions over time. And you can see how it developed. At the beginning of the year, we're only at 20K, and now we're close to cracking the 60K barrier. So I'm really happy with the overall development. And yeah, you can see my total investments and contributions were 50K. So that means I have a profit of 7.7 thousand, or 15.5%. And we haven't even finished September yet. So I still have a few more months to go. But hey, even if it corrects the market a little bit and goes down, I'm a long-term investor, so I don't really care. But of course, it's nice to see that profit over there, which I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have invested my money in the first place. Right, but let's kick things off by looking at the things I really enjoy about eToro overall. And first of all, it's actually the platform and interface, because yes, I'm obviously testing brokers almost for a living, you could say. So I try many different brokers, and there's a few that are really standing out. But actually, I must say, in a way, eToro is definitely one of them. It's really simple and user-friendly, I would say. It's everything you need and not much more to it. Like overall, it's very clean. The side menu over here, which I like. The same on the phone. The mobile app is very streamlined. I can pretty much do the same things I can do on the desktop, I can do on mobile, which is really nice. Not all the brokers do that. And yeah, I really like it. Very straightforward, very easy. And very often I do my investments on the phone because it's just so simple to do. And yeah, really enjoy the experience overall, especially comparing it to a broker like Interactive Brokers, which, I really love and recommend. But as a platform and interface, it certainly needs, a little bit more improvements here and there. So here, I would really think that eToro is definitely one of the better ones out there. So if we jump into my portfolio, you can see my holdings over here. So let me just move the sidebar away so it's cleaner to see. And yeah, basically, I really like this overview. It's just enough to see what's going on. And I like also that you can customize your overview as such, because when you have your account open, you may not necessarily see the same how I see it. So I actually customize my column. You can click over here on this button, and from here you can organize what you want to show, move something, remove something. And it's very easy. So I have it set up this way that I see basically all my holdings from highs to lows. You can see how I filter it. The highest net value right now is my S&P 500 ETF. Then I have Amazon, Google, and NASDAQ 100. So yeah, I can see basically the price right now. What's the price of it? The units, how many shares I have of each, the opening price, the average price I bought it at, which is really interesting to see, right? Because the price is one thing, but obviously I dollar cost average my way into it. So I can see a lower price, which is obviously nice. Then of course the net value totally, what it is, as well as my P&L, the actual profit, and the profit in percentage, and also fees. You can see that number over here. I'll come to this a little bit later to talk about this, but that's also nice to see your fees very easily in one overview. And yeah, down here at the bottom, once again, you have any cash that's available waiting to be invested. You would see that right away as soon as you make a deposit. You have total invested plus your profit, hopefully more profit than loss, and then total portfolio value. You can also click on this button over here, which will bring you into your own statistics and kind of show you by months how you've been doing, what has been doing well, what has not been doing so well. So it's a nice overview and insights, analytics into your own portfolio, ESG score, expected dividend. So I really like that, the way they're portraying it, your recent trades and so forth. Really nice analytics into your own portfolio, which again, I've been missing with some other brokers for sure. And another really cool thing that I like about, if I go into each position, for example, Amazon that I recently added, I can really see each individual buy, which is really nice, right? I can go back to when I first bought it, the date, the time, the price, what I paid, the amount. I can have a stop loss order, a take profit order. I can see the net value, P&L. Again, you can customize it as you wish. And I can even close individual positions, right? Because in some countries, depending where you live, you might want to close all the stock trades that are over 1 year to have some tax advantages. So that's also smart, not just to sell like we do in most brokers and sell parts of it, but here you can really close individual positions, which is yet another plus that I haven't seen with many brokers out there. And of course, the buying experience is also very easy. For example, if I wanted to buy some more Amazon, I just go over here, click on trade. And of course, as you saw right now, I don't have cash in here, so I can't place an order. But technically, if I had the money over here, I could very easily go in here, place the order, always make sure to remove this take profit. I don't know why they always have it by default in there, but just click on it, remove take profit. So it basically won't auto sell it. The same, I don't want to have a stop loss. And the cool thing is also in the past, they used to really push those CFDs, right? Which I'm not a fan of. I want to own the actual stock. And now it really shows you, if I had money in here, basically that I'm buying the actual stock, right? So unless you buy a leverage, if you do a leverage, then you can see it becomes a CFD. It's clearly marked now, so you really know what you're buying. If there's no CFD mentioned, then you're actually buying the underlying share. I also like that they really transparently show the spread that you would be paying, which again, not all brokers really transparently show you. They say we have 0 commissions, but the spread is very high. Now, is it the tightest spread out there? No, but it's definitely come down a lot over the years, and it's pretty tight for me. And in most cases, if I compare ETFs, which I can buy here without any commission, which is awesome. You see on the stock, I pay right now $1, depends where you live. Some countries have $1, some have 2, some have none. So it depends again which region you're based in. But for ETFs, for example, if I want to buy some more SPY5, my S&P 500 ETF of choice, if I click on trade over here, you will see that I don't have any commissions, because on ETFs, you don't pay any commissions. And you can see how tight the spread is. If I compare that to interactive brokers, where the spread is maybe slightly tighter, but I do pay relatively high commission. In most cases, it's around $1.35, depending on what I buy. But yeah, in that case, actually, I might be better off with eToro. Now, granted, if you're buying 20,000 worth of an ETF, then maybe you'll be obviously better off on interactive brokers, because spreads do matter. But on smaller regular buys, you might actually be better off on eToro in this case. Of course, from here, you could also short, but I don't short. And in this case, it would, as you can see over here, also turn into CFD, which I wouldn't recommend and I'm not a fan of. Now, another thing I absolutely love about the platform is the way I deposit money, because I can basically, in the UAE, deposit money from my bank account. I use Bank into eToro instantly with my credit card and without any fees, which is absolutely awesome. So on Wio, I convert my dirhams into dollars and then just go in here and choose, instead of instant bank transfer or bank transfer, I choose credit card, debit card. Make sure you deposit in USD, not in AED. Otherwise, they will charge you an FX fee. You don't want to have that. So if you choose USD and use Wio, and then just add your credit card details, literally, I can send a couple of K over there. It's instantly there without any fees from both sides. And that's one of the big benefits, because even with interactive brokers and so forth, it takes a bit longer. And in many cases, you might have a bank transfer fee in there, right? So that's a huge plus for me. Now, again, of course, it depends where you live and so forth. But I think that's a real nice feature that I really enjoy, and why I've been using it so much in recent times, because I do every single week those transfers. So those savings do add up. The stock research interface itself is pretty decent, right? Again, I don't usually rely on them. I use platforms like TipRanks or Seeking Alpha to do my stock research, but it's really solid and gives you enough insights. If you don't want to use another platform, you get really good insights from here. But again, personally, I just prefer, some other platforms. But as I said, it definitely has a lot of insights and information here on financials and charting and so forth. So you'll get whatever you need out of it. Another big plus is that they finally added the option of moving your accounts and your holdings on eToro to another stockbroker if you wish to do so. So in the past, it wasn't really possible, but now finally, apparently the option is available. I haven't tried it, but you can now technically, by contacting them, through the ACATS system. It's like an international system that most brokers use. Move your funds to another broker. Of course, there will be a fee. Usually, they don't really make money of it. This is just a fee that you have to pay for the system to move the funds around. But just know that you have that option available. Of course, for me, being based in the UAE, that's the benefit, right? Technically, even if I wanted to move the funds somewhere else, I could just sell it without paying any tax on there and then rebuy it elsewhere. But of course, it's nice to have that feature, especially for people, who are based in Europe or elsewhere. And one more plus that I really like about the platform that they recently introduced is that you can now have recurring buys, which you can set up very easily. Just when you go on buying any stocks or ETF, click on here, set up recurring investments, and it basically walks you through very easily how to set it up. Select the frequency, on which date you want to do it, and then obviously click on go ahead. Say how much you want to invest with which card, click on next, and then it basically shows you what it is. And the cool thing is, if you set up recurring buys on stocks, they will also waive the commission. So that's really cool. Only when you sell, it'll still be there, but if you buy, it will be waived. Now, another huge benefit that really appealed to me as an investor into the platform was the eToro Club. And at first, I really wasn't, too keen on it. I didn't understand it. But once I hit the first level of silver, which is at $5,000, I started getting the benefits. I said, wow, this is such a smart concept. I'm still not understanding why not more brokers applying that, because here it's not a subscription. It's not that you have to pay for it. You basically get rewarded the more money you deposit into the platform. So it's based on deposits, not on portfolio value. The more you deposit over time, the more benefits you get. And you can see right now, I'm on Platinum Plus. Recently just got there, over 50K. The next one, the highest one, will be at 250K to be a Diamond member. So that will still probably take me a while. But here you can see all the benefits that I'm getting already, right? Tickets to handpicked sporting events. I mean, last year, they invited me to Formula 1 in Abu Dhabi. It was unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. That's not because I'm an influencer or cover them on my YouTube videos. No. It's because of my eToro membership. So that's really, really cool. I have a dedicated account manager. I remember the first time when I reached that level at silver even, she reached out to me and scheduled a call. She sent me her WhatsApp and we had a Zoom call, jumped on there, and she explained me the platform and so forth. I mean, it's crazy, right? I've been using other brokers for many more years, have even more funds on there, and they never called me once, right? So that was really, really cool. And a lot of other things like Delta Pro investment tracker, my absolute favorite investment tracker. I use it all the time. You can see I have even two widgets at the top here. I can see very quickly my total portfolio balance, what it is, how it works over time, how the portfolio grew, and so forth. I have all the various brokers you can see here, eToro, Interactive Brokers, Trading 212, all linked up. And since I believe Delta was acquired by eToro, now they actually give you the Pro subscription on Delta for free, which is absolutely awesome. It automatically syncs with my eToro account and many of the other ones like Interactive Brokers and Trading 212. So really recommend that. Plus many other benefits like Fiscal AI, Wall Street Journal, no withdrawal fees. So really recommend it. I think once you're into the ecosystem, you really want to climb up the ranks to get even more benefits. And if you want to check out eToro for yourself and open your account, then definitely make sure to use my link down in the description below, which will give you exclusive access to a really cool bonus that they recently launched. They never had really nice sign-up bonuses, but now they finally do. And you can see over here, the more you deposit into the platform, the more you get back in free assets, which can be in stocks or cryptocurrency. If you deposit at least $10,000, for example, you can get $500 worth of assets, which is a 5% return on your deposit, which is absolutely awesome, right? I wish I had it at the time when I opened my account. Sadly, I didn't. But yeah, that's a real nice initiative. So make sure you use my link down in the description below if you want to open an account. You can see over here terms and conditions. So make sure your country is available there. They keep on adding more and more. The UK should be coming anytime soon as well. So you can see here the various countries that are currently listed. Most of the countries in Europe as well as GCC. But as I said, I believe UK is coming very soon as well. So I think it's definitely a really cool initiative, which I can definitely recommend you. If you anyways want to open an account, make sure to grab that link and get your free assets. Right, with this, let's come to the things that I'm not too fond of about eToro. Now, the first one, that's a personal opinion, but that's the copy trading. And I think that's why eToro gets a lot of heat for it, because a lot of investors think that eToro equals copy trading, right? Where you can basically copy other traders on the platform. You can see here who they are, how successful they are, how many thousands of copiers they have, their returns. So if I click on this guy over here, most copied person, I can go in, see his returns, see what he's buying. So it's kind of cool, right? And if I wanted to, just copy him because I like his trades and how he returned over time, I can just copy over here and then say how much money I want to allocate. And then it's almost like an ETF where it follows his trades. And again, maybe it can be good for some, but I'm also personally not a fan of it. I never did copy trading and I wouldn't want to do it myself, nor necessarily recommend it. I get it why eToro does it, right? Because the more people trade, then obviously the more trades this person does, the more the other investors will make their trades, and that obviously leads to more revenue as a broker. But personally, it's not a tool that I would necessarily want to use nor recommend for most people. It is an option, it's there if you want it, but I never actually look at it. So that also carries through in general to any stocks that you analyze. You see, as I've shown you before, the data and analytics and so forth, which is great. But then you also have discussion forum, which again, I know some of you may like, but for me, it's almost a little bit distracting, right? I want to focus on the numbers and the insights, etc., than all those discussions. So again, for some of you, it might be actually nice. Personally, I don't use it, but that's also fine. It just means that I'm not scrolling down so much. I focus on the part at the top here where I can really dive into the numbers and so forth. The next thing I really don't like too much is the fee section. I spoke about this before. I'm happy to see that they have this option to show fees over here, but it is a little bit confusing, right? Because I actually asked them what's happening with those fees. You know, the first time I saw the fees over here for my ETF holding, S&P 500, $127, you can imagine how upset I was. And I wrote to my account manager right away asking what's happening. I thought, you're not charging me any fees. They told me this is actually the dividends that I received on it. So that's a little bit, confusing, because then just call it dividend column, right? Add another column under dividends. Awesome to see it, right? Again, most brokers, they don't really show you dividends so easily. Just add another column. Don't call it fees, because that gets confusing for most people, right? So these are small things. Again, nothing major. Now that I know it, that's fine. But again, that's just something to keep in mind. While, for example, on Amazon, that doesn't pay me a dividend, unfortunately, those $18, you can see it's in the minus. That's actually the fees I paid on every trade. The $1 fee, I did 18 trades, so that's why $18 in terms of fees. If you do want to see all your dividends, you can just go into settings over here, click on account, then you go down to account statement, click on view, select any period you want to see it for, let's say this month, and then at the top here, you can select the various sections. I can click on dividends, and here basically I see all the dividends that I got for that specific period. In this case, Alphabet, and you can see withholding tax rate as well, all the percentages and the amounts. It's just slice and dice, obviously paid for each of the positions that I own. So actually, it's a nice way of showing it compared to some other brokers. But yeah, getting there, it took me a while to finally find it. But honestly, the same can be said for interactive brokers, which is also not very intuitive. So unfortunately, most brokers struggle with dividends and showing them, ideally forecasting them even for the future. So that's something they should also be working on. I think they could do a better job, especially for dividend investors. Another thing I'm not a fan of is actually something in a way that's good. They do offer cryptocurrency, which not all stockbrokers do offer. So for example, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin on here, you can, which is great. However, the problem with it, honestly speaking, are the fees. I mean, look at this. Let's say I want to buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. Your fee would be $100 because it's actually 1% of every buy and every sell. So as much as I love the platform for cryptocurrency, I will certainly not be using it. I think it's just too expensive to do it through here. But if you wanted to and just want to have an easy way, you can definitely trade cryptocurrency through here as well. And then obviously also from here, move it to your own personal wallet later on if you wanted to in cold storage, which I always recommend. So yeah, you have that option available to you. Well, there you have it. After 1 year of using eToro as a platform and trusted broker, I can really recommend it. I wouldn't keep so much of my hard-earned money on there if I wouldn't trust the platform, right? Now, you may have your own thoughts and you may not like the copy trading and some of the other features, which is totally fine, right? A lot of stockbrokers have features that I don't use, and that's totally fine, right? But there's no denying that a trustworthy broker where I buy actual underlying ETFs, stocks, exactly like I would on any other broker. I can move those stocks and funds to other brokers if I wanted to in the future. It's very cost efficient. The spreads definitely came down from the times in the past. And keep in mind, most people were referring to CFD fees, which are exorbitant. That's why I'm not buying them. But if you buy stocks and ETFs, I think the fees and spreads are very, very tight and competitive to many other brokers. And the fact that they're now a publicly listed company just adds even more credibility to them. So if you want to check out eToro for yourself, then definitely use my link down in the description below to grab yourself some free assets when you open your account with my link. And if you still have any questions about eToro or any of the things I mentioned today, pop them in the comments down below. Happy to hear from you. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy. See you in the next one. Ciao.